everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do my THOSE eyeshadows update. I have a couple rollouts today. One of them I am going to be just deciding to roll out because I am quite fed up, and the other one I've hit pan. So it's a little bit of a bittersweet. I have most of them on my eyelids today. As you can see, this is quite a dramatic look for myself. I do not usually do these looks anymore, but I had a lot of fun. So yeah, let's get into it. I really struggled this month. I think I said that in previous videos, but I definitely neglected a lot of my shades. Hold on, let me just fix the camera. I think it's a little bit wonky, but anyway, we're just gonna go with it. So yes, I've struggled a lot this month with most of my projects. I'm actually filming this on the day that the video is going to go live because I wanted to give myself one final push today. That's why I've got most of these shades on my eyes, and I actually hit the pan today. Another reason why I delayed it last minute. I just knew I was so close, and I'm like, come on. But anyway, let's get into it. I've been working on 5 shadows. They're all random. I'm not doing the Laney list where you pick your shadow based on a prompt. I might end up doing that next year because I've realized all my other eyeshadow projects where I'm actually picking the shade that I want to pan, I have more success on it. I think with the randomization, I quite like it because it keeps it fresh, it keeps it interesting, but at the end of the day, some shades are picked that I wouldn't necessarily want to use at that moment in time, so it's a little bit hit and miss, I think. And I think I've been dealt with a color story that in itself is quite pretty, but for this time of year, it's really hard because it's very autumnal, it's very Halloween-y, it is very, you know, I want to just put it in the fall and that's it. It's not very spring-like at all. And there's just some shades that I'm struggling with, but yeah, I said it already, but let's get into it. Let's start with the shade that's been in the project the longest, which is my Pastel Roses shade, which is the Nymph shade. And it is a very beautiful green with a flip of blue, purple, and whatever else. It does stain the lids and the fingers. I'm not going to be swatching it, but it is this shade right here. It has a little bit of flip of yellow too all the time when I put it on the screen. It's very beautiful. I've used this 2 times this month for a total uses of 6. Now in this project, I want to get to 20 uses and roll out. However, it's been in for 3 months and I've only used it 6 times. And I think a reason for that is because I have the Earthly 42 pan palette that I'm trying to do a no pan left behind on in my Shop My Stash, and that's very green, and this is green, and I just think it's getting neglected because if I'm going to do a green look, I go into that palette and I generally forget about this shade. It's also quite a special shade for me. There you go, you can see it now. To be fair, it's quite special and I don't think I'm going to hit pan in it anyway, so I'm going to roll this out. I am going to do a little bit of a veto, a little bit of a switch up just because I'm struggling with this so much, and it's been 3 months and I'm using it 2 times a month. So at this rate, it's going to take me a really long time to get to the 20 uses, and I just don't think I'm going to get there. It's not that I don't like it, it's just more of a unique shade for me. So that one I'm going to be rolling out. Next up, we've got a color pop, which is Rise and Grind from the Orange You Glad palette. It is no longer in that palette, it is in my Whatever palette because I did switch out my palettes quite a bit in a video that will be posted in a few weeks' time. So this one is a beautiful orange matte. I have used it 6 times this month, but it is still only looking like this. You can see that. So I'll put up on the screen obviously what it looked like last time. I think there is a tiny little bit of a dip forming now, but I am nowhere to hitting pan. I have used this in total now 9 times, so I'm about halfway there. I don't think I'm going to hit pan by the 20 uses, but I will keep it in, and I kind of like the look of this palette, so I want to keep this palette out anyway, and kind of, you know, play around with it. But yeah, this shade, I just, you know, it's not going anywhere anytime soon, but maybe another month I can use it 11 times this next month and just get it out of the project. I think that would be ideal because then I don't want it to go on for more than 3 months, which is kind of my goal. I'm thinking if a shade sticks around in this project for 3 months or more, I might put a rule in to roll it out. I don't know. I mean, you know, that's technically kind of cheating because I have the 20 uses and, you know, you want to hit pan on these shades, but I also want this project to make sense for me, and I want to have new rollouts, like new roll-ins as well, and I just don't want to use the same shades all year long because I do that in other projects. So this one, really, I want to keep it fresh, and I'm struggling to keep it fresh. Okay, this next shade has been in the project for 2 months as well, and this is from the Equalizer Volume 2 from Sample Beauty, and it is the purple matte shade called On, and this is my one and only pan this month, which I'm really excited about. I didn't realize, these are pretty deep pans. I thought it was going to be more like a Beauty Bay pan and a little bit shallow, but it's not, so it took me a little bit longer than expected. I used it twice in March, and then in April I used it 12 times. 12 times? Yeah, 12 times. And I finally hit pan. So I'm really excited. I hit pan today. I put it all over the lid, and then I tried to blend it out with all of these oranges, but I'm not very good at that. So I'm happy that it's out because, again, it's a dark, rich color, and I don't really reach for these that much. If I do, it's for an inner corner, and it is quite a sort of dip, like a natural dip, I would say, but it's because I was using such a pointed brush most looks. I did use a fluffy brush, I think, in a couple of looks when I was like flushing it everywhere. I did try to blend it out, but it didn't really blend out that much in terms of getting it lighter, so it does stay quite dark. But yeah, it's a nice shade. I really like this palette. I think the formula is great. I just wasn't expecting the pans to be as deep as they were, because that is pretty affordable palette. It's usually like £15, so if you can get your hands on it, I think it's a really, really good palette to have. Okay, the last two shades have been rolled in for just 1 month. I'll start with the Cor de Rosa shade. This one is from Sigma, and it is the Summer Song matte right here. I also use this, I put the purple, I used this shade to blend a little bit, then I tried to do that other orange shade from the Orange You Glad. I'm just not very good at it, but I did use this, how many times? I used it 6 times this month. It's a really nice shade, actually. As much as I go on about not liking this palette, I think the mattes are pretty decent apart from this shade right here, but this is pretty nice. There's just a tiny bit of disturbance. You can't really see anything else that is significant to talk about. It might be a 20 use and then roll out. I don't know if I would hit pan on it, but we'll see. I'll keep working on it. It's actually quite a nice shade to have. Then I've got a shade from my Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette, which is the Bloodstone shade, and this one I've used 4 times this month, so not too many times. It's quite dark, and it's not a good time of year for me to use this shade. Out of everything in this palette, this is not the shade that I want to use. I'd much rather use these lighter tones in here. But this one is what I have on the lids, and the undertone is literally the same color as the Summer Song. So they pair really, really well together, but they're all just so dark and deep and rich, and just not like the type of colors that I want to work on. But I will keep them in. I'm going to keep everything in aside from obviously the shade I'm rolling out, which I hit pan on, and that green shade. So I'll have 2 roll outs and obviously 2 roll ins this month. I wanted to do that because I just need to get away from this Halloween color story. Regardless of what's rolled in, I mean, we'll see what happens. If a green rolls in, I think I will skip and I'll roll again, because I do not want to roll in a green, and I also don't want to roll in any shade that I'm rolling out, which would be like a dark purple. So those are like the only 2 that I would potentially not roll in. And then if there are shades that are already in projects, I won't roll them in. And also, if there are shades that are identical to shades in my Pan That palette or my Project Level Up palettes, or just too close, then I won't roll them in either. So there potentially are a lot of shades that I cannot roll in, but there are so many other shades that I can. I have like over 1,000 shades that I can roll in. So I really, really want to make sure that I get a good color story for the next month or 2, and then I can get some pans. I want to get some pans in this project. So yeah, let's get into it. I think I have all of my palettes now in my tiny decisions. We're gonna pick 2 palettes, and then we will just roll random numbers for those palettes. Let me just get ready. I think I have everything in here. I also have singles in here. If a single is rolled and obviously it's not on the long list that I just spoke about, then I'll just use that single. But otherwise, if a palette is rolled, then I will just randomize the number and we will pick a shade. But let's get something good, right? I need something good. MAC Star Sighting palette. Okay, that's a very old palette, but that's fine. That's got 6 shades in there. I do have one pan already, but it does have some pretty shimmers. So that one is fine. Okay, so let's roll again and let's see what our next one will be. Give me something good. Come on. Essence Out in the Wild. Okay, I am going to roll again because that is predominantly a green palette and a lot of those shades will be in my Earthly palette. So as much as I want to use that palette, because I haven't used it in a long time, I won't get any use out of it if I roll it in right now. So I'm just going to skip that one. Primark Rose Quartz. Oh my gosh, okay. Alright, so these are 2 old palettes of mine. I kind of wanted some maybe newer palettes, but I will grab those and we'll see what shades are pulled. Alright, so the MAC Star Sighting, it's actually a holiday edition one. It's it's Star Sighting in Fuchsia. I guess they had different ones. I got this for Christmas though, so I'm not sure. And yeah, the only pan I have is in this mauve shade right here. So I'm gonna do 1 out of 5 and I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. So we'll see what we get. All right, so I've done 1 out of 5. So let's do 1. No, 3. It went to 3. Okay, I'm blind. Okay, so I went 1, 2, 3. So 3 would be this shade right here. So that is like a dark purpley shimmer. It's a different color purple to the one I've just rolled out, but it's a dark purple. So I think I'm going to roll again. I'm sorry, but I know I'm not going to get any use out of that and it's going to be a waste of my time. So let's just roll again. 5, no, 2. Okay, 5 would have been, oh my God, it just went to 5. No. It just went to the black. How could I do that? How can I do black? I mean, I could do a black, but these are MAC shadows. These are very, 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 very hard to pan, I would say. This took me ages to pan this one. They don't have much kick up. They're not fluffy. They're not buttery. Yeah, I will keep the black in because I can always see how I do. Oh, but I really don't. I honestly just wanted one of these 3. Oh gosh. Should I roll again? I feel like I should roll again. This is not going my way. I'm gonna have orange, the Bloodstone, like two very similar oranges, Bloodstone shade which kind of leans into that rustic orange, and then a black. Oh no. I'm gonna roll again. I'm gonna do 1 out of 3. We're gonna roll again. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm being a big cheater right now, but I do not care. 1, 3. Why does it do that? It just changes at the last minute. Okay, 3. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna pick this one, which I think is doable. I mean, I would much rather work on this shade. This is okay. This is quite pretty. It's a pink and it has that undertone that will go with those oranges, if you can see that. So I think that is a good addition because it has a little bit of purple sparkle and then it has that orange undertone. This works perfectly. Okay, I'm happy that I did all that, but that was a challenge. All right, this is the Rose Quartz from Primark. I do have a few pans in here. I've got 3 pans in here, but it is a bigger palette, and again, there is a black. I guess if the black rolls in, I'm not gonna do the black. But let me just see. I don't think there's anything else that I won't roll in at this point. So this one's okay. So, all right, and then we will roll again. And now this one, whatever is picked, I will pick it. I won't change at the last minute. Okay, so it's set on 12. All right, so we're going to do this, right? So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is the one I have pan on, so this one will be 12. Okay, so this is like a rosy pink, just a plain shimmer. That would be a really nice inner corner. It's not that different from the MAC one. Oh my gosh, this is like the worst. This is the worst. I'm having the worst luck this year. Okay, so I just put the MAC one next to it. It's very, very, very subtle compared to the MAC one. So that's okay, I'll keep those in. Actually, it's quite peachy, so I'm definitely going to keep it in. I think it's pretty. Let me just swatch the rest of them, just so we can see what they all look like together. Alright, so that is my new color story. Very, very warm tone, very orange, but I actually like it because it's very cohesive. I could just do a one and done look with all of these and I would be very, very happy. I think I'm going to use this as my inner corner shade for the most part. And I think it just all works together. I think that green and purple with the orange was just throwing me off so much. It's just so Halloween-y, and I'm not even a big Halloween person, and so I don't want to do Halloween all year long. So, but this I'm much happier with. So as much as I, you know, faffed on and on about what shade to pick in my MAC one, I'm really happy that I did kind of say, no, I'm not going to do that shade twice, because I think I would have been a little bit miserable if I had kept the black. And I would have been miserable if I kept that darker purple shimmer, even though it's kind of like a mauvey purple shimmer. It would have been okay, but I'm much happier to have this one in. So that is my new color story. I'm hoping that I can get some good use out of the Primark one because those are easier to hit pan on, and the MAC one as well. I think the shimmers are easier than the matte, so I'm happy with that. And then as far as the rest of these, I don't know. Maybe Bloodstone I could eventually hit pan on, but I don't know about these other two mattes. I think they'll just be 20 use gold and that's it. But yeah, that is my video. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.